A brush fire that forced evacuations in West Maui has been knocked down. Good afternoon to you. I'm Jonathan Masaki, sitting in for Ashley Nagaoka, who is on assignment. Now, flames broke out shortly before noon yesterday in Ka'anapali, scorching 33 acres mauka of Hono'api'ilani Highway near Kaka'ala Nail Drive and the old sugarcane train warehouse. It took about 3 hours for MFD to stop the blaze from growing. Residents say they are traumatized, especially since Friday marks the second anniversary of the deadly Lahaina fire.
PTSD, yeah. We lost our house in Lahaina, so this is kind of scary to us. So yeah, it's hard.
My family, we still, have trauma from the 2023 wildfires and everything that happened then. So anytime that there's a fire, any type of emergency, those worries still kind of catch up. So for us, we're still kind of on our toes. We know that hey, it could spark up later again today. So we're ready to just go when we need to.
An emergency evacuation order was issued but lifted shortly before 3 yesterday afternoon. All roads have since been reopened. So far, there have been no reports of injuries or buildings damaged. A lack of insurance could threaten Lahaina's road to recovery for homeowners, but there are several agencies and organizations stepping up to help to fill the gaps. With rising construction costs, many homeowners are hundreds of thousands of dollars short of what they need to rebuild. When her financing fell $500,000 short, Jessica Kadiyam found other financial support from multiple organizations, including the newly formed Lahaina Community Land Trust.
I mean, to get the call that says, okay, we have the funding available for you to finish the house is, it's a godsend. Glory to God that we're able to do it.
Every time we're able to have that final meeting with the family and see them and the relief they have that they have a path and that they're going to be able to get home and they don't have to think anymore about selling and leaving Lahaina, that's a really powerful moment.
The Land Trust Program asks families to sign a deed restriction that requires the property to remain locally owned and affordable. It is also buying out homeowners who must sell. A county program with federal funds will require similar restrictions. Condo owners may have a bigger struggle because their individual owners may not be able to raise enough to build an entire complex. Meanwhile, a Maui Fire Department report says it's better prepared to respond to future disasters. This past year, MFD added 21 firefighters and 8 support positions, and it has new trucks and water tankers on order. MFD has also notified more than 100 property owners to get their land up to fire code. Of 62 inspections, 10 properties received a notice of violation and have 30 days to resolve the issue. First-time violators face fines starting at about $1,000 a day.
What we're doing right now is a study on our standards of cover, and what that does is that evaluates all the risks in the community, all the locations of services available, including fire stations, and it'll determine how many stations we need to mitigate the risks in our community.
MFD is also working with researchers to track short and long-term health impacts on firefighters, including a University of Arizona-Kansas study that will span for 30 years. A fire believed to be set on purpose at a Waipahu homeless encampment has some nearby residents worried over their safety. This is a charred wreckage from the flames that ripped through 2 abandoned homes last Wednesday. Honolulu fire officials say someone doused one of the homes with ignitable fluid. The structures were a part of a cluster of houses on Kini'au Place that became home to squatters for years. A resident who lives feet away from the site says her home saw minor damages. Those include cracked windows and a melted fence and air conditioning pipes.
My room is right up there. Out of the entire family, my room was heavily affected because it was this house that got burnt. We believe because of the wind, that's where some of the heat came from that affected our home.
Now, total damage for the 2 homes and the one next to it is estimated at more than $500,000. No one was injured, and Honolulu police have not released details on a suspect. Now, developing news this morning out of the McCully area. That's where HFD crews were able to put out a building fire. They were called to this building on Kapiolani Boulevard at 3:15 this morning. We're told the fire was on the second floor. Firefighters made short work of the blaze, getting it under control within minutes. No injuries were reported, but one person has asked for help from the Red Cross. Oahu's hazard mitigation plan is ready to be put into action. The city yesterday announced that the Federal Emergency Management Agency approved the 2025 update, which is required for federal grants. It ranks the disasters Oahu is most likely to face and then outlines a series of actions and projects to address those threats. You can learn more in the virtual meeting set for this Thursday. For information or to register, visit the As Seen on Sunrise section at hawaiinewsnow.com. And we now know what former Honolulu Police Chief Joe Logan is asking taxpayers to pay him as he sues the city for retaliation. Logan retired on July 31st, but says he was, quote, forced to do so by the mayor, in part because Logan refused to conduct more homeless sweeps in Waikiki and Chinatown. Logan sent a demand letter to the city last month ahead of filing a lawsuit. With the help of Public First Law Center, Hawaii News Now has the demand letter showing Logan wants more than $784,000. That equals 2 years' salary plus another $250,000 for emotional distress. He also wants a written apology from the mayor. The mayor responded to the demand letter saying the same way he responded to the lawsuit, saying Logan retired voluntarily. Now, on Hawaii Island, a drug bust of meth, cocaine, and steroids has led to the arrest of a Puna couple. Bruce and Starlyn Lee are charged with multiple offenses after officers raided a home in Paradise Park on Friday. Investigators also found more than $13,000 in cash and more than $175,000 worth of jewelry. Starlyn Lee posted a $325,000 bond and is due back in court later this month. Bruce Lee is still in custody. He's awaiting a preliminary hearing that's set for tomorrow. Now, also on Hawaii Island, Candice Kanoilehua Gomes has been charged for multiple home break-ins. Police say the 45-year-old Gila woman burglarized the separate residences last week, stealing items and a sedan. Gomes was caught in the stolen vehicle and tied to the crimes through surveillance footage and items that were recovered. Gomes made her first court appearance yesterday. Her bail is set at $134,000. Now, Democrat lawmakers from Texas who fled the state say they'll continue to fight a Republican redistricting plan, even under threats of arrest. Plus, there's new pressure on the Trump administration from Republicans looking into the Jeffrey Epstein case. Erica Brown has the latest from the White House.
Sir, why are you on the roof?
President Trump hinted at more construction projects at the White House Tuesday as he joined an architect on the roof of the building.
Just another way to spend my money for the country.
Earlier, the president weighed in on Texas Democrats fleeing the state to block a vote on a new congressional map he's pushing that would give Republicans an advantage in 5 more districts.
I won Texas. I got the highest vote in the history of Texas, as you probably know, and we are entitled to 5 more seats.
Speaking in Illinois, where many of the state lawmakers fled, Texas Democrats say they'll remain out of state until the special session ends, despite facing civil arrest warrants.
We're defending the rights of all Americans to value their vote.
The standoff could have national implications ahead of next year's midterm elections, with Democratic leaders threatening to retaliate with redistricting plans of their own.
This is a new Democratic Party. We're bringing a knife to a knife fight, and we are going to fight fire with fire.
The Trump administration is also facing new pressure today from Republican lawmakers looking into the Justice Department's investigation into convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The House Oversight Committee subpoenaed the Justice Department for records related to the case. It is also seeking depositions from former President Bill Clinton, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, and 8 former top law enforcement officials. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
A judge today will hear arguments in a lawsuit challenging the expansion of commercial fishing in protected waters between Hawaii and the Mariana Islands. An executive order signed by President Trump earlier this year scaled back protections for the Pacific Islands Heritage Marine National Monument, allowing fishing closer to shore near some islands. Earth Justice challenged the action, saying it bypassed the required public comment period for changes to regulations. Today's hearing begins at 1 p.m. in Honolulu District Court.
Aloha on this Tuesday. We've got another tropical storm in the East Pacific, and this one, Henriette, is going to get stronger in the short term, but in the long term, it's going to weaken. This one, too, will pass by to the north. So sometime early next week, we're talking Sunday, Monday, it will cut off the trade winds again, and we'll likely see some spotty showers along with humid conditions. It's not expected to bring us severe weather, but it's also expected to bring us more swells for south and east shores.
A massive wildfire burning through the mountains of California, still growing. I'm Jason Allen near Santa Maria, California. We'll show you what's fueling that blaze.
And also coming up, an update on what happened in that deadly underwater accident involving a OceanGate Titan submersible. We'll have details on that right after the break. Heading to trial, the two Hawaii Island brothers wrongfully convicted in the Dana, Ireland murder case will face off against the state in an effort to get compensation. Chief Investigative Reporter Lynn Kawano reports on the significance of this civil lawsuit.
There have been several Hawaii men freed after evidence showed they did not commit the crime, but not one has received the money owed. The Schweitzer brothers will be the first to go to trial over it.
2 years and 8 months after Albert Ian Schweitzer was freed in court, and 23 years after he was wrongfully prosecuted for the rape and murder of Dana, Ireland in 1991, he is still waiting for compensation.
It's the AG who keeps contesting everything when it's not necessary. If you think that we did something, where's the evidence? When you already agreed that the evidence shows that we didn't do it.
Prosecutors have said recently that the Schweitzers are still considered suspects, even though their own office didn't contest the new evidence used to throw out the convictions of Schweitzer and his brother Sean, including DNA.
Is Sean Schweitzer excluded from every male DNA profile that was produced from the evidence in this case?
Yes.
Is Ian Schweitzer excluded from every male DNA profile that was produced in this case?
Yes.
In 2016, Hawaii lawmakers approved 661B, a path to collect $50,000 per year of imprisonment. The law only applies to convictions that were reversed based on evidence consistent with innocence. The Schweitzer's civil trial over the issue is now set for March.
I'm relieved that it's finally coming to head because it is. It's new, and so we're trying to rectify some of the rough patches, but it still shouldn't take this long.
There is no penalty for the state to delay. 661B is specific on the amount of money a wrongful imprisonment is worth. I'm Lynn Kawano, Hawaii News Now.
The state attorney general sent a statement to Hawaii News Now yesterday, saying in part that the office, quote, feels it is important that a lawsuit adheres to the guidelines, filing requirements, and court deadlines required, unquote. The AG says in these cases, quote, a petitioner has the burden to prove their actual innocence by the preponderance of the evidence, unquote. The Gifford fire in Central California is now the state's biggest this year, burning more than 82,000 acres. The wildfire is just 7% contained and is expected to keep growing over the next few days. Jason Allen is near Santa Maria with the latest.
Armed with shovels, picks, and weed whackers, this California fire crew marches out to battle the Gifford fire with help from above, as an air tanker drops fire retardant over the dry land in Los Padres National Forest.
Just to get out there to that fire edge, it takes an extreme amount of work, and you can't just always take vehicles out there.
Santa Barbara County Fire's Scott Safechuck says dry vegetation has contributed to the fire's explosive growth.
Low humidity, high temperatures, wind influence in alignment with drainages, that just allows for a perfect mixture that creates extreme fire behavior.
The smoke that is just hanging in the canyons, not only from this fire, but others across California and Canada, is creating hazardous air quality across the country.
Air quality, even miles away from the fire, can really affect community members, particularly elderly, children, people with respiratory issues like asthma.
On Monday, the Gold Fire erupted east of Los Angeles, forcing campers to evacuate the San Bernardino National Forest. In Arizona, time-lapse video shows a wildfire in Grand Canyon National Park that's been burning for more than a month. Jason Allen, CBS News, Santa Maria, California.
A long-awaited U.S. Coast Guard report on the Titan submersible disaster found the tragedy just over 2 years ago could have been prevented. In the report, investigators said that OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush ignored safety warnings, design flaws, and crucial oversight. Rush was among the 5 people killed when the vessel imploded in June of 2023. It was on its way to the Titanic wreckage. Jason Neubauer with the U.S. Coast Guard Marine Board of Investigation says greater oversight is needed in the deep sea expedition industry.
The preventable nature of this was OceanGate could have done maintenance and some monitoring of the danger signals, of the warning signs that the hull was giving off. It really is a wake-up call, to make sure you examine the certifications, go deeper into who's operating, ask some questions.
Now, OceanGate suspended operations the month after the disaster, which promptly calls for very much stricter regulations in private deep-sea tourism. A company spokesperson said it was fully cooperating with the investigation.
Going with a group instead of going it alone. I'm Wendy Gillette in Lucerne, Switzerland, with how group travel is evolving after the pandemic.
And coming up, Guy Hagi has your 7-day forecast when we come back. Right now, you're looking at a beautiful live shot of Honolulu Harbor, and the distance, you see the Daniel K. Inouye Airport. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Now, First Alert Weather with Guy Hug.
Aloha on this Tuesday. We've got trade winds today blowing at a good clip. It's going to feel nice and comfortable, and there's not a lot of rain. However, when the remnants of Gil, this used to be a tropical storm, pass by to the north of us by tomorrow, we're going to get lighter winds. It's going to be more humid, and there's likely to be some spotty showers as well. But again, this morning, fairly dry. In fact, mostly dry, especially dry for those leeward areas. Now, the winds will hold firm today. This is the last day for the trade winds to hold firm because by tomorrow, the winds lighten up significantly. It's going to be hot, it's going to be humid, and there will be some spotty showers. But again, not today. Today's going to be very nice out there. We got lots of sunshine on tap. High temperatures running to 89. But again, not too humid because of those brisk and breezy winds. Now, heads up, we've got a swell that's peaking right now. High surf advisory posted for South Shores, but it's likely to get another boost over the next couple of days, maybe even a bigger one by, say, Wednesday into Thursday. So watch for that. Other than that, we've got some pretty nice weather today. Lighter winds coming in tomorrow, and that's going to usher in a few more showers as well. The trade winds come bouncing back Thursday and Friday, only to get lighter again as another tropical cyclone comes across to the north and blocks those winds. So it's going to be hot and sticky again Saturday into the early part of next week.
And much mahalo, Guy, for that update. Now, you won't even notice, but today, August 5th, might be shorter than 24 hours by just a little more than 1 millisecond. Scientists say the reason is the Earth is spinning faster, likely due to changes in the Earth's core and the atmosphere. A shorter day already happened last month on July 10th, and the shortest day ever was July 5th of 2024. That day was, get this, 1.66 milliseconds, less than 24 hours. You might be saying, big deal to the 1 millisecond, but scientists say this could one day affect computers and satellites that rely on precise timekeeping. Now, group travel increased in popularity over the pandemic, with travelers happy to put the problem solving in someone else's hands while they enjoyed seeing the sights. Wendy Gillette tagged along on 2 programs to find out more.
A festive Hawaiian luau capped off a week-long trip to the islands with the group travel company Road Scholar. Activities included learning about folk instruments and traditions, crunching on volcanic debris after an eruption just a day earlier on the Big Island, and sampling Maui's pineapples. Road Scholar is geared toward older adults, and the average age of 72 hasn't shifted much in the company's 50-year history. But the pandemic did bring change.
Solo travel has taken off post-pandemic, and particularly women-only travel.
The nonprofit company has seen both categories grow about 10%, with travelers interested in Road Scholar's education-based programs.
Prioritizing sort of personal growth, real purpose and real connection in their lives.
Another tour from the company Tauk takes travelers on a week-long journey through Switzerland, including here to the city of Lucerne.
Tauk, the first licensed tour operator in the U.S. 100 years ago, is also evolving.
Small is big. People want more intimate, quiet ways of exploring all the world has to offer.
About half of Tauk's land-based trips are now small groups. Carol Augustin, who lives near Orlando, joined this one because she wanted to return to Jungfraujoch, the highest train station in Europe, and minimize any hassles along the way.
It's luxurious. They handle your luggage. You don't have to do any of that. You're on vacation.
Luxury on the tour, one of those we were invited to join, includes first-class train rides and hotel stays at Mandarin Oriental in Lucerne and Lausanne Palace overlooking Lake Geneva.
Harvested by hand.
For excursions like the chocolate tasting, the group splits in half for more intimacy. Cheers. By the time the tour ends, strangers are celebrating new friends. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
And some UH coaches and athletes take a break from practice to welcome Keiki back to school. We have details on that coming up in just 2 minutes. Several University of Hawaii football and volleyball coaches and athletes were on hand this morning at a couple of schools in town to welcome students back to the classroom. Now here at Hokulani Elementary School, UH women's assistant volleyball coach Kieran Costa opened car doors and greeted Keiki as parents dropped them off to begin their fall semester.
These kids are coming in for the first time and, maybe kind of nervous, so we're kind of here to hopefully ease a little bit of that Band-Aid and kind of be an opportunity to make them smile.
So today it's first couple days of school, so we made sure to bring out some volleyball players, some football players, just to greet the kids and wish them a good first couple of days of school. This is our team, Hawaii's team. We're out and about. Just want to make sure that we're connecting with our young fans.
They'll say this is a great way to get the young ones interested in UH sports. Thanks for joining us. Remember, we'll be back at 5 with more news.